That's right, folks. Today is officially pond expansion day, and I personally cannot believe this day's finally come. We've lived here up in that house now for about 4 years, and we've owned this pond for that same amount of time. And over that period of time, we have done so many different things to this pond and in this pond. Everything from stocking fish in it, both stuff that we caught like big largemouth bass and all the thousands of bait fish that we've had to stock in here to try to feed those bass, to dealing with bass kills, floodings, really hungry otters. I seem to remember we even put a couple boats in here at some point in time, didn't we? We also may have sank a boat in that period of time in this pond. So this pond has been through quite a bit already. But the one thing that's always eluded me, the one thing that I always wanted to do with this pond was expand it, to put my own stamp on this backyard pond. And that's exactly what we're going to be starting to do today. The backyard buffalo pond, which I've seen you guys' comments, yes, it looks just like a buffalo. But the backyard buffalo pond, as it sits right about now, we always called it a 1 acre pond, but in all actuality, it's really less than an acre. So with this pond expansion, we would be looking to take this just under 1 acre backyard pond and expand it out to between 3 and 4 acres. Gonna be potentially tripling our available fishing space. And I cannot believe today's finally the day that this pond starts its glow up, if you will. Bunch of bluegill and brim right there. The shallows, you love to see that. Got some large farm equipment just showing up the last few minutes. Now this project is gonna take anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. So I really hope you guys are up for a video by video diary, if you will, that's gonna document this entire pond expansion process. And continue to get in that comment section, guys, and give me ideas. I've been seeing a ton of your ideas, some pretty wild ones in there and some really good ideas, but continue to drop those little nuggets of info down there for me, please. Hope you folks are ready. Well, the clearing work is obviously underway. Got that big old excavator right there, moving some trees. Simultaneously, there's a bulldozer just on the opposite side of all this stuff. It's kind of pushing and clearing all of this area that's gonna be pond here in the next few weeks. Got quite a bit more clearing to do. We're just scratching the surface, boys. Dude, he's got a whole tree right there. An entire tree. Dude, that's insane right there. So a lot of this area right there that they're clearing is going to become part of the new pond. But we're actually kind of reshaping our dam too, because we're gonna have to take our dam and curve it out further out here to accommodate the new size of this side of the pond. This is absolutely insane to see right here. We fished this cove a million times, caught a million bass out of here. It's crazy to think that all this that we're standing in right now is gonna be pond here just in a few short weeks. It's happening, boys. Can you believe it? Stepping out here on this peninsula right now, can really tell that there has been a massive clearing effort going on. A few of you guys will remember, but if you see that little fence right there, that's where the Spring Creek flows in. And now all this is gonna eventually become pond. Not to mention all of this right here, all the stuff that I'm standing on is gonna become pond too. So we really focused our initial effort on that east side of the pond. You know, that's where we're gonna be able to get the most pond size, most surface area, the most depth and water volume. So that bulldozer and excavator really focused on knocking down all those trees, the heavy vegetation, and just clearing the entire east side of the pond. It's just insane to witness the power of these heavy machinery, this equipment. For example, check out this excavator just knocking down a big tree, no problem, and then just carrying it away. One cool thing they did was that bulldozer actually created a temporary dirt road over the top of the Spring Creek that flows in 24/7, which I thought was just insane that a bulldozer and a couple loads of dirt could create a road over a waterway like that so easily. But next thing you knew it, the excavator had crossed over that little man-made road, and it was on the back side, the north side of the pond. Guys, look, projects like this require a ton of time and resources. And that's why I'm so happy to be partnered with DraftKings Sportsbook again. Now, I love sports. I love football, I love basketball, I love baseball, but the UFC is probably my favorite sport of all. Picture this weekend, UFC 303 in Vegas. Is there anything better than that? There sure is. The new deal that DraftKings Sportsbook has for all of you guys. That makes it better. All new customers who bet $5 on literally anything instantly get $150 of bonus bets. That's right, all you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make sure you use my code LOJO when signing up, and then as soon as you make that initial $5 bet on literally anything, you get that $150 bonus bet. You can use those bonus bets on a bunch of different things, but one of the things you could do is called a same game parlay, when you make several different bets within the same game, increasing the total amount you could win. If sports betting is not yet legal in your area, don't worry, DraftKings still has you covered. In fact, they are a one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy, where you can join in on all the fun and still have a chance for some cash prizes. DraftKings Sportsbook has made my game day experience so much better the last few years that I've been working with them. Placing little wagers, little bets here and there makes the game so much more interesting, makes the event so much more fun to watch. Click the link right at the top of the description. Join in on all the fun. Now back to the video. As day one progressed, the work kind of shifted to the north side of the pond and really knocking down some dead trees that needed to come down anyways, doing some scraping along the edges of the pond, flattening the earth, and just generally preparing everything for what's to come. You know, it never ceases to amaze me how much work a man can accomplish with a piece of heavy machinery. I mean, there's been two guys out here for about 5 hours now, and they have done an insane amount of clearing out here at the backyard pond. Just gets me every time. Modern man ingenuity. Now that we've got that side of the pond really good and cleared of all the trees, all the overgrown vegetation, Now we've obviously crossed over the creek and now we're on this backside of the pond. I think now that a lot of the clearing has taken place, it's a lot easier to visualize how much bigger this pond's actually gonna be and how much more surface area we now have to dig out and let fill up with water from the natural spring. We've even got another idea kind of bouncing around right now. What if we take some of the red clay that we're gonna naturally dig out of here, and why don't we raise the dam height about 3 feet, give or take? That'll help us on our grading problems on this side of the pond. It'll also help us by adding depth to all of the pond that's already here. By the end of day one, it already looked like a completely different area. I mean, the clearing that had been done that first day was insane. It looked like a completely different piece of land, if we're being honest. And at this point, I could finally start to envision all the possibilities. One thing that I thought was just so cool yesterday when they started, they did so much clearing work, as we already talked about, but that dozer actually made this little road so you can cross the creek and the machinery doesn't have to go all the way around that dam, you know, to do work on either side of the pond. But while building this little temporary road, they inadvertently backed up the creek, or so I thought. So literally like a ton of dirt got dumped on this creek, and yet that creek is still flowing, baby. Almost got like a mini waterfall down there, just that water finding a way, kind of seeping through all this stuff and still somehow finding its way into the pond. By far, one of the coolest parts of this pond is that it's spring fed, and as you can see, there's just no way to stop that water flowing in. So constant oxygenated water, constant filtration because of that constant inflow. It's also going to make filling this thing back up once we've done all of our digging and dirt relocation way easier. So currently we got Mr. Excavator Man over here, just doing some clearing behind the dam. And he's just gonna go all the way around the backside of this dam and just kind of clear out all that thickness. That way we're gonna have access to both sides of the dam for future maintenance purposes, just for general upkeep of the pond. But before, you guys remember how thick all that stuff was back there. I mean, it was almost impossible to walk through some of it. So that's not gonna be a problem anymore. I also have a really cool backyard pond pet fish update as well. So yesterday when we started this project, me and the site foreman were kind of walking around and I saw a very large bass swimming around in the shallows. So I kind of followed that bass around a little bit. I took a really close look and I am pretty sure that's Larry from the micro pond. It was a really long fish. It was kind of beat up, like it had a big scar on its lip. And that's exactly how Larry was. He was a river fish. River fish are normally pretty beat up and scratched up, especially the bigger that they get. So I am very happy to report that Larry is not only alive, he's doing well and thriving in the backyard pond. Now let's just hope that he, along with all the other bass, survive this whole process. And the way we're planning on doing this, they should. Now day 2 is when those 2 huge tractors and scraper attachments come into play. These things are some of the coolest attachments I have ever seen. These things can scrape up basically an entire truckload of dirt in one shot. It can then tote that load of dirt to a new location wherever it's needed, and it can be dumped with precision. Wow, day 2 is just cruising right along right now. The clearing is just about totally done as far as trees, brush, thick vegetation. Now these guys have already moved on to dirt relocation, kind of filling in the backside of the dam where they did all that other clearing, and also doing all the grading over here on this new side. This is a really good vantage point right here. You guys can see neighbor Daryl's house. And so here we got the very edge of where the new pond is going to be. And as you can see, it's kind of being graded down to where the existing pond already is right now. I've gotten the chance to see some of the coolest heavy machinery on this project, and that's one of those really cool attachments right there. Mr. Dozer Man is getting some serious work done over here on the dam. He's already kind of widened it, as you see. He's just kind of going layer by layer, just slowly widening it. Our two tractor fellers are making their little loops, redistributing dirt, trying to level everything out. It's incredible how much dirt they can move with these things at one time. Like multiple truckloads per accessory. Oh my God. Dude, he went sideways right there. That was insane.
He's still going.
Yeah, he is sideways.
So that was on purpose earlier.
Wow.
Look at that. Looks like.
Dude, nice. Look how big this tractor is, bro. Dude, that was almost bad. We almost witnessed a workplace accident, I think. That was pretty close right there. Maybe he's just so skilled that he's actually doing that on purpose. I don't know, but look at how steep this grade is now. This is off the side. The pond's right there. This all used to be woods. As we walk down here now, you see how much taller. Oh wow, I just fell in a hole. Wow, Jay is like 6 or 7, 8 feet above me right now. They're just dragging those big attachments behind the tractors, moving that dirt, grading along as they go. Look how much they've already added to the dam. Like they've already added so much height to the dam already. Like look how much higher we are right now. We're like a foot higher than we just were. Yes, they've already stacked a substantial amount of dirt up here. Good dirt too, that we dug out over there on the other side. This is awesome. Dude, check this out. So this right here was a little tiny little retention overflow pond that's created from just the overflow pipe in the backyard pond. But dude, it's completely bald. No trees. Oh wow, where'd you find that?
Just hanging out, you know.
You know, we got some random boat parts that we're gonna find along the way, but seeing the backyard swamp basically like this is pretty insane. But this is the Spring Creek right here, continuing on after the overflow pipe and just continuing on into the swamp, going on presumably forever. Jesus, I'm sinking in mud. Yeah, so there's the backyard swamp and there's the backyard pond. It's never been this easy to say that. OG fans will remember this little boat. This is the one AO accidentally sunk in my pond, water testing it, and then we repurposed it into a duck blind in the backyard swamp that we never used. These giant tractors and attachments kept making loop after loop, pass after pass, round and around the pond, redistributing dirt every single time. You can see that dozer is right there behind them the whole way, ready to backfill and push, flatten that dirt as it gets moved. Well, it is absolutely incredible how much work has been done in just 2 days. 2 very short days of work. There's still a dozer and one of those gigantic tractors going. It's almost sundown though, so I'm sure these guys are about to wrap up here really soon. The progress made today was absolutely immense, as you guys can see and as you have seen. Now we still obviously have a long way to go. I mean, anytime you look at a project right in the middle of it, it kind of looks terrible, looks dirty, stuff strewn all over the place, but the pond is just now starting to finally take shape. I know a lot of you guys are wondering if neighbor Daryl is going to be involved in this project, and believe me, he's going to be around. And he's doing just fine, but apparently he hates drones. Daryl's a silly, silly man. So to recap day 2, basically a completion of the clearing on the east and north sides. So like 95% of the clearing was done by the end of day 2. But not just clearing, also dirt redistribution. It's being scraped out of that east side, load by load, and being brought to the dam and other areas that need to be brought up to level. In the next episode, we continue the scraping and digging on the east and north sides. We also start core digging to tie in where the new sections of dam are going to be built out of red clay, but we got to make sure those tie in to the existing dam and that red clay to make sure this thing stays watertight. We even have a special visitor show up the next couple days with quite possibly the coolest outdoor attachment that I've ever seen. Guys, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you do not miss any pond uploads. 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed. Guys, it's free to do so. Click that button, join the LOJO Fishing fam. Do not miss a single episode of this pond build. Continue to get in that comment section and give me some inspiration. I love you guys. Hope you're ready for the next one.